Hello my friends, I am Sarah. Welcome to Grace in My Space. Today we are going to talk about 2025 home design trends, and I'm going to say the things that no one else is saying. I'm really excited to dive into what these trends are, but I don't want to just tell you what they are. I want in this video to talk through what that means for you as a typical homeowner. And in order to do that, I feel like I need to throw a couple of caveats at you. Number one, interior design trends are for interior designers. Interior designers must be on the cutting edge. They need to be thinking outside the box. They need to be extra creative in order for them to stay relevant. And so if you are looking through some of the items in the video that are trending for 2025 and you are thinking to yourself, that makes no sense for me, then you're probably right. I think it can be so easy to get caught up in what the trends are and feel like you have to keep up with them. But in all reality, a lot of these trends really don't apply for your everyday homeowner, or they apply on a micro level. Many of the trends and the images that I will show you vary greatly. Everything from cabin in the woods to a sleek apartment in a big city. And you'll notice that not all of the trends match each design style, and they're also not meant to. So just keep that in mind as we go through the trends, that every trend is not meant to fit into every style home. My other caveat is that home trends used to last 10 plus years. If you think back through interior design and what it has looked like over the decades, there are very distinct decades of design. The 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. If you are old enough to have lived through those decades, or if you have studied design and you know what those things look like, 70s, shag carpet, bright avocado, oranges. These are all very well-known trends of those decades, and you'll notice that they actually lasted a significant amount of time. Now, trends are very different. If a trend lasts for 3 to 5 years, then we're doing pretty good. With social media, we have kind of become a society that expects trends to roll over very quickly, almost as quickly as fashion does, and that is very unrealistic, and honestly, it's pretty irresponsible from a sustainability standpoint, from a personal budgeting standpoint in your own home. And so I do like to kind of throw that caveat out there that just because these trends feel new, or maybe they have been kind of trending for a couple of years, it doesn't necessarily mean that we need to keep up with them, because it's really hard to do that on a 5-year basis. So as I kind of go through each trend, I want you to stop and analyze it. Do I even like the trend? Because if you don't, then it doesn't matter that it's trending at all. Toss it to the side. But also, does it fit into the architecture of your home? If you live in a traditional or a Victorian home, then minimalism is going to not quite fit the style of your home, no matter how much you try to make it fit. On the flip side, if you have a really modern, brand new build, you're gonna have to work really hard to get some of the maximalism and some of the new trends that are coming into your home, and you're gonna have to build it into it. So does it make sense for your personal interior design style? Does it make sense for your family's needs? Does it make sense for the architecture of your home? These are all things to really assess before you put any stock in what's trending. With that said, let's dive into some design. Let's start out talking about color, because there is a lot of changes over the years. Trends come and go with various color schemes. There was a lot of grays, there was a lot of whites, there was a lot of vibrant, bold colors. There's a lot of mustards in the last couple of years. And this year, they're trending brown, which I'm actually very excited about, because brown is so easy to incorporate into your home. You can even use just simple wood tones as a brown. It's a very earthy color. It goes with lots of other colors, so it coordinates really well. Other colors that are really trending are deep burgundies, navy blues, saturated greens. Terracotta is going to be pretty prominent. and they all add a lot of depth and sophistication. At the same time, we are seeing some softer greens and muted blues coming in, which is a very stark contrast, in my opinion, to the deep burgundies and the saturated greens that are also popular. I love that they're bringing in some of these softer tones because they are more associated with wellness and a sense of calm. And it also just goes to show that the trend right now is very open. There's lots of varieties of trends depending on the interior design style that you most associate with. And so there's a lot of flexibility for you to add color to your home, be on trend, but also have it be personalized. I love color trends. There have been many years, last year was one of them, that the trending colors, I was like, oh, no, thank you. But if you love them and they make sense for your home, then by all means use them. This year, with the browns and the deeper moody colors and a lot of saturation, this is really easy for an average homeowner to bring into their spaces with bedding, with curtains, pillows, area rugs, paint colors. Color is the easiest trend to keep up with if you like the color. With that said, we are seeing some shifts with furniture. There's been a lot of different textures that we've seen in the last couple of years that are going to start going out of style a bit. We're going to be coming back towards more classic furniture and a lot of pattern. Now, for me personally, mixing pattern can be very complicated for people. But I think that this is one that's going to feel fairly overwhelming to people because it's hard to coordinate patterns without it just looking really busy. So if you would like to incorporate more pattern into your home, you like it, you just don't know how to do it, my biggest suggestion would be to start with simple pillows. Most larger pieces of furniture like sofas or accent chairs are one solid color, but you can bring in a couple of different patterns really easily and really affordably with some pillows. And then if you don't like it, it's not such a big risk to have to return a pillow cover versus an entire sofa. Another easy way to bring in pattern is with things like ottomans that are smaller, can be moved room to room, area rugs, of course. But what I love to make sure that people understand is that if you're doing a pairing of different patterns, it really helps ground them if you throw a solid in with it. So 2 pattern pillows, 1 solid pillow. Another great way to bring pattern into a home is with wallpaper. I did this in my office makeover that I did last year, and the common element here is the same color scheme in 2 different patterns, and that makes it feel less chaotic and more like they complement each other really well. And you can still get that double pattern in the same room without it feeling like they're competing with each other or clashing. Now, this switch to more of the classic furniture is very interesting to me, and I think will make you as a homeowner have a lot more ease as you look for furnishings. The boucle style was in for quite a few years. I own it, I still love it, I'm keeping it. Just because we're shifting to kind of a classic furniture design doesn't mean that you toss out what you have. But with the classic furniture coming back, we're looking at more ornate styles, we're looking at more traditional colors and the lines of the furniture. And I love that this trend is coming back because it makes thrifting and secondhand furniture a really great and affordable way to furnish your home. The past several years, we've had really modern and sleek furniture coming out in all of the stores, and that classic furniture was less popular, but now that it's coming back in, it makes family heirlooms really cool. If you have a family heirloom that is a classic piece of furniture with ornate arms or curved backs, and you have kind of felt like it doesn't fit the design styles in the past, this is your year. Now, this next trend I'm actually really excited for: artful lighting. For years and years and years, our lighting has become fairly plain. And no matter what store, what website you're looking at, they all just look identical. And now the trend is art as lighting, and I love that. I'm so excited about that. I love really beautiful statement chandeliers. They don't necessarily have to be fancy, they just have to be unique. And so it gives people a lot of creative license to be a little risky with light because it can become the statement of an entire room. I'm really excited about the artful lighting trend. I think it's gonna be beautiful. I think it's gonna really explode people's creativity and their sense of creating art within the basic structure of a home. I think this one is gonna be really cool for people who tend to struggle with decorating, because decorating means that you have to put art on the wall, or you have to put a vase of flowers somewhere, or you have to kind of play with the color and the patterns and match everything correctly. But lighting as art is simple. It's one piece, it makes a statement for the room, and you're done. So if you're a homeowner that tends to feel like you struggle a little bit with the decorating portion, I love the artful lighting trend because it's going to allow you to make a big statement in a single room with one piece, and it's the basic structure of the home rather than a piece of decor you have to add or swap year to year. Another trend that I think is actually not a trend, it's just a lifestyle, is nature, nature, nature. Bringing nature inside, incorporating natural elements like wood tones, bamboos, wicker, leathers, lots and lots of greenery, live plants, wood beams. These are all things that have been trending for years. I don't see them as a new trend. I don't see them as an old trend. I just see them as something that works very long-term, extremely classic and timeless, and can work in any style home. Now I'm going to combine the two trends of adding nature to your home with wood beams, with plants, with organic textures, pottery, sisal rugs, jute rugs. There's so many ways to add those natural organic elements to a space, with combining the outdoor living element into your home. Adding nature to a space will work with any design style. It will work with any home's architecture. You can do it with simple things like houseplants. But be careful about adding architectural elements like wood beams if it doesn't make sense for the structure and the style of your home. But when you talk about outdoor living and bringing the outdoors in, that's easy. You want any home exterior to feel cozy and inviting, landscaping, decorate the deck, decorate the front porch. Those are so easy, and it's kind of almost funny to me that they're trending as if it's not something that we've been doing for centuries, because we have. And so if you love being outside, creating cozy outdoor living spaces, this is the year where you're going to see a lot more inspiration come to you and become available. So if you struggle with kind of putting together an outdoor seating space, or if you don't know how to design an outdoor dining room, this is the year that you're going to have all kinds of inspiration. Check out Pinterest, check out YouTube, check out Instagram, and there will be no shortage of ideas for you in the spring season coming up. Along with the natural elements, we're seeing a lot more natural stone, even natural stone on backsplashes. So I would say incorporate your stone in ways that make sense for the architecture of your home. Maybe it means the fireplace is stone instead of a backsplash. There's lots of ways to bring beautiful things like that into your home, or maybe even on the exterior, and still have it feel like it fits the style of the house. Adding natural stone is one of my favorite things ever, and I love that there's so many different ways that you can do this with wall treatments, a backsplash, a fireplace, home exterior, pavers on the ground for your landscaping. These are all things that we've seen for many years, for centuries really. But what I am seeing come back, which was very common in the olden days, is a stone fireplace surround. So we're seeing a lot more of the casted stone or even natural cut stone that is laid properly. And it's exciting because those are things that last forever and are a really beautiful statement that you can make in your home. With that said, more and more people are embracing outdoor living. More and more new builds are ensuring that the transition from outdoor to indoor living is pretty seamless. And I think that this trend actually started about 4 years ago when we were all in our homes due to COVID-related restrictions, and more people started valuing the ability to go outside and to live outside. And so more people have started to focus on outdoor spaces, and I see that continuing for years to come. Something that is more new is a focus on wellness spaces. Saunas and cold plunges have absolutely taken off in popularity to incorporate into your home, where in the past they've been something special that you go to either a gym or a special spa for. We're definitely going to see these wellness spaces becoming more incorporated into homes as people have the ability to do cold plunges and saunas in their own space. And it's an interesting thing for you to consider for your own home. I would look at this trend as something that you should consider very closely for resale value. Things like pools and hot tubs are very common in homes, and they can be seen as a pro or a con to buyers. But new things like saunas and cold plunges, if they are not something that you can take with you when you move, should be considered as a maintenance risk, and think through whether or not you want to take that on for your own lifestyle. Now, I kind of alluded to my hesitation with this focus on wellness spaces in the home because they are definitely trendy. Things like saunas, things like cold plunges, hot tubs, those are pretty trendy. And they're also kind of polarizing. I could talk to 5 different people who have one of those items, and I will get 5 different opinions on them. And so some people are gonna love it, some people are gonna say it was a waste of money, and it's all very much based on their lifestyle, how much they want to invest, how much they want to maintain, how much they want to kind of build a structure around those items. And so I'm kind of interested to see how this trend plays out over the years, if it's going to be a passing fancy or if it's going to be something that more people are really excited about investing in the wellness and health of their family. This focus on wellness spaces is definitely one of the biggest elements where we're seeing that lifestyle is more important than trends. Plunges and saunas, spa-related elements of a home are not for everyone, but it is for that specific person who is creating their own space, fully based on their lifestyle and the way that they want to experience their home. I love that I'm seeing more of this lifestyle over trends mentality. I think that it's extremely important to create a home that you love to be in, and I don't think that that is going to be changing anytime soon. Now, for a long time, minimalism was very popular. There's a sense of sustainability to it. There's a sense of freedom from clutter, and it's not going out, but it is getting cozier. So some of the trends this year are to warm up that Scandinavian design with rich wood tones and just make it less of a sterile environment. Keep it minimal, but make it cozy. So if you are a minimalist at heart, then everything that you bring into your home has a purpose. You either love it or it serves you in some way. And so I love that they're kind of cozying this up a little bit, because for a long time, those environments felt a little bit sterile and hospital-like. But that opinion is coming from somebody who's not a minimalist. And so if you are a minimalist and you look at this trend and you're thinking, I don't really want to make my space cozy, because the whole purpose of minimalism is that I'm not focused on the looks and the design of my home. I'm instead focused on the functionality and the sustainability, then cozying up your space might not matter and you might just throw this out. But if you are a person who has kind of tried to get into the minimalism trend for a while and you just feel like you don't quite fit the mold, this trend is for you, because it is cozying up minimalism and having a less severe form of it. Instead of stripping your whole house bare, just look for the things that you can get rid of that you know you don't use, you know they don't serve a purpose, they stick in a closet for years on end, and be intentional in what you're bringing into the home and really assess, do I need this? Am I going to use this? Do I already have one of these? Or can I repurpose something else that I already have to function the same way that whatever I'm about to bring in the home functions as? And it's just a lot more intentionality in your thinking. On the flip side, we are seeing maximalism on the rise. Grand millennial was a trend for a couple of years. It's not gone, but I would say that it's morphing into this sense of collection and curation and I really love seeing people excited about creating their home the way that they want it to be, even if that means that the house might feel a little bit loud and chaotic. It's exciting to me that while minimalism is still a trend, maximalism is also a trend, and I just love that society is embracing differences a little bit more in these home design trends. It's no longer the mentality of what's right or wrong. There's a lot more openness to creating spaces that are unique and personalized. Maximalism is so fun. I'm not a maximalist. I am somewhere in between a minimalist and a maximalist. I'm average. I'm an average person. But I love that maximalism is a new trend because it gives people freedom and almost societal permission to go crazy in their homes, to do a lot of pattern combination, to do a lot of collections and displaying collections again, where for quite some time hiding those collections away was kind of the trend, and sleek design and the minimalist trend was really pushed. And so if you have always struggled to fit that mold, you love your collections, you love your patterns, you love layers and coziness and art and trinkets, this year's for you. Another trend that I absolutely love is creating interesting ceilings. We've seen this color drenching trend for a couple of years now, but we're elevating that trend and creating interesting ceilings now. Maybe they are color drenched, but there's also beams, or there's also molding applied to create some kind of pattern, or maybe they're wallpapered. However you want to do it, we're no longer ignoring that fifth wall in our room, and I am here for this one. Now down on the walls, plain walls are very much out. We're adding texture with wallpaper, we're using plaster, adding wall moldings, maybe it's a paint wash or a line wash. People are getting a lot more creative with their walls so that it's no longer just paint it and be done, but we're really taking extra care in creating something interesting and full of character. I love seeing this trend because for the longest time this was very common and very normal. And I feel like the Gen Z generation, perhaps, and down, have not seen that as much in their homes, and now they're coming into home ownership and seeing a lot more creativity, and I cannot wait to see how this trend develops. Now, this is very interesting. The combination of paying attention to the fifth wall, that ceiling, and doing something on the four walls of a room. This is just really going back, which many of these trends are, to old ways of creating architecture. I look at these two trends as kind of reclaiming what has been lost over the last few decades of architecture. After the 30s, you really start to see more of the plain homes coming and exploding, and now with developments, this is very common. Just a plain home, builder grade is usually what we call it. And so seeing people invest in designing a space with more character, with very simple ways of doing it, either on the ceiling or on the walls, is really fun to me because it warms up a room, it gets so much more personality into a home, and it's really DIY friendly. So if you're looking for a way that's easy to incorporate some of these trends, look at things like wall moldings, wallpaper, color drenching a room, adding crown molding if it fits the architecture of your home, and you will create so much personality in a space once you just let that creative freedom flow. Now, with this younger generation coming into home ownership, we're seeing a lot more incorporation of invisible technology. Think hidden TVs or hidden surround sound speakers. There's a lot more sophistication with smart homes and smart lighting. I love that this trend is focusing on creating a helpful and sophisticated environment that isn't full of wires and ugly screens. We recently added a canvas TV in our living room, and I want to create it even more invisible by adding a more bulky and customized frame to it. And there are just so many ways that you can have the convenience of technology in your home without it being overtly technological. I'm not sure a whole lot needs to be said about incorporating invisible technology This is not a new trend. This has been happening for years. It's not a trend that's probably ever going to go away. We're always going to want technology in our home, and we're never going to want to see it. This is less about something that's trending and more just about keeping up with technology at this point. New things come out every single year, sometimes twice a year, sometimes multiple times a year. And so it's really just assessing what makes sense for my home. What do I want to incorporate? What's going to be outdated really quickly and I'm not going to want to have to continually update, and thinking through all of those elements. Now, the last few trends that I want to focus on are actually really cool to me. There's a lot more focus on creating immersive environments that really foster atmosphere with sight and sound and touch, lighting, candles, music, having organic textiles, and focusing more on how your home feels rather than how it only looks. I love this. Covering all 5 senses in your home is such an amazing way to make sure that it's memorable, that it feels like home, that it feels like a refuge, and it's really peaceful and restful. Now, creating immersive environments is an interesting trend because it's not really a trend, in my opinion. This is just basic homemaking. Homemakers have been doing this for centuries. Keeping the house clean, creating a welcoming environment, having wonderful smells, having music play in the background, lighting a candle. These kinds of things are not a trend. It's just a lifestyle. And so if you kind of looked at this trend and you were like, huh, so was I. Along with that, there's been a really cool shift to focus on artisan and handcrafted pieces over more mass-produced items. I love that people are getting invested again in thrifting, in secondhand items, and in antiques. There's a lot more sustainability in this mentality, and also focusing on handcrafted and artisan items is bringing back in a lot of those storied, character-filled items that we've lost with the shift to mass-produced home decor. Focusing on artisan pieces, handcrafted pieces, I love this trend. I love it so much because for decades we have really focused on mass-produced items and convenience. And the upcoming generations, and my generation and older than me as well, we're just kind of sick of it, to be honest. People are kind of tired of a mass-produced home where I can walk into my space and it looks the same as somebody else's who shopped at the same stores. So this focus on artisan pieces is really cool, but as an average homeowner, I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult for people because artisan pieces, handcrafted pieces are expensive. And they should be. The reason that mass-produced items are more affordable is because they are mass-produced, and so you can make more for less money. So artisan pieces are going to be investment pieces. If you want to bring more of these into your home, think of them that way. Think of them as heirlooms. It's really a mindset shift of, I like this accent chair, I'm gonna buy it, maybe it'll last me a few years and then I'll get a new one, to I'm gonna buy this piece that is handcrafted and I might be able to pass it down to my children and it's going to be an heirloom piece. So I think that this trend is less about something that's trending and more about a societal mindset shift. And that leads me to the final trend of a more romantic and storied look to your home. That might mean more unique counter edges rather than just the streamlined pencil roundover. It might mean unique light shapes or stair rails that are curved or twisted. Maybe your furniture has more ornate details to it now. We're bringing in more of that character that we used to see in handcrafted items and was lost for a time. And I'm so excited to see that character coming back into homes. And I've mentioned this a few times, but through all of these trends, we're seeing a lot more focus on sustainability. And I love seeing that as we just really care for our homes and our environment around it. Now, this last trend of creating more romantic and storied homes is so cool. This is my favorite one. But this is one that is going to be more difficult for the average homeowner to incorporate unless you're remodeling, because a lot of it is like your countertop edges. Is it going to be just the simple pencil roundover like most modern homes have, or are you going to have a little bit of a beveled edge on that countertop? If you have a home that has a straight modern staircase, that's not a cheap fix. If you wanted to update it to something that has more character, maybe has more curves, maybe it's wood balusters instead of iron. These are more long-term projects if you need remodeling, and also for interior designers to put into new builds. On the flip side, if you aren't really able to change the architecture of your home, it's so easy to use this trend in a thrifting capacity, in an antiquing capacity, and updating your home with secondhand finds that have history in and of themselves because they're not new. So if you want to kind of create that more romantic environment in your home that has a story to tell, start antiquing. Now, if you like to plan projects for the year, grab yourself one of these beautiful day planners from my sweet friend Cami. If you look at this, it's really fantastic. We have the big picture look at each month, and then every month has your full month view. It has notes, it has individual days, as well as a habit tracker. And then it also has this huge section at the back with notes, with grid paper, really great for designers. And this is the time of year that I love setting goals for my own home, what I'm going to be doing in my home, what I might be doing for the next year, setting budgets. And planners like this are exactly what I need. I'm going to link this for you in the description. It comes in 2 other colors as well that are beautiful. And when you put it back into the holder, it actually makes a beautiful coffee table book so that your planner is out and accessible and gorgeous anytime you want it. I hope that this video has helped you kind of think through what did the interior design trends mean for me as an average homeowner, not an interior designer who needs to be thinking cutting edge, and that you can take some of these and create the home that you love. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.